Hello, this is a quick overview of project number 2. This is our second major project that we're going to be working on, and so I wanted to talk you through some of the key pieces to keep in mind with this project, and then also just give you a couple of tips as you start to work on this project. So our first project that we did, just to step back for a second, was an essay, and it was a personal essay. So that project was all about you. It was entirely personal. You didn't have to look at other text or reading or anything else. Project 2 is different in that now it is literally about someone else's information and ideas. So it doesn't have anything to do with you. This is not personal in any way. There's going to be no point in this project where you're using I or me or my. This is all about what another author said. And the whole point of this project is to learn how to really break down a text to fully understand the key information within the text. One of the biggest errors that readers make when they're looking at a text, particularly in college, is that they either misinterpret the information, so they misunderstand what the author was trying to say, or they maybe hyper focus on some really small element, a supporting detail, rather than looking at the big picture. In other words, the bigger point that the author is trying to make. So there's a couple of key pieces with this project. The first, really important, is that you start becoming familiar with the reading terms. So what is the main idea? What is a thesis when we're looking at a text? What does it mean to have a supporting detail? And there's going to be a handout that covers that information under the discussion for this week, or for next week, sorry, I believe next week. The coming up discussion where you'll be thinking through your ideas for this project. So that's going to be a place where you can really familiarize yourself with those terms. Then what's going to happen is literally we're going to read this article, The Internship is Inside Track, and we're going to use this template that I provided to literally break down the entire article. So we're going to include the title, we're going to figure out what is the author's thesis, so the thesis of the whole article, what are the specific main ideas within the article, and then for English 95 students, breaking down and finding all of the supporting ideas. So a couple of key pieces. First, this project will never ever look like an essay or paragraphs. It is not. It is literally almost like the opposite. It's the flip. It's taking an article that is already in paragraph form and breaking it down into this chart. So it's sort of the opposite effect of writing an essay. So again, the final draft is going to literally be in this reading chart template that's been provided. It will not ever look like something else. When it comes to the thesis statement in each main idea, those must be written as complete sentences, first and foremost, because if it's not a complete sentence, then it's actually not a thesis statement, it's not a main idea. So must be complete sentences. They also must start with signal phrases, also called reporting phrases or lead-in phrases, where you're literally giving credit to the author. So whoever the author is, right, their last name claims, the author says, the author showed, the author describes, the author covers, the author researches. Whatever it is that the author is doing with that thesis or main idea, you'll use some verb to make sure that it's clear that it's their idea and not yours. At the end of every single sentence or phrase on this entire document, you're going to need to include the page numbers from the book where that information was found in parentheses. That's called in-text citation. That's how you make sure that you're giving credit to not only who said it, but where it came from, which is really important in this particular project. You'll notice that on the reading chart, there is 11 main ideas. I'm going to tell you straight up, there's not 11 main ideas in the article. There is less than that. There is also more than 2 or 3. So if you're only finding 2 or 3 main ideas, then you're not finding them all. If you're finding 11 main ideas, then you're identifying some things as main ideas that are not actually main ideas. So that's kind of my hint as you get started. So again, this project is all about breaking down the article, making sure that you're really able to figure out what each piece is functioning within the article. And this is going to help you just really understand the text that you're reading. Again, please pay close attention to whether you're working at the English 90 level or you're an English 95 student, or an English 90 student working at the 95 level. So got to make sure you're following the correct task and guidelines or requirements for each one. There is a sample reading chart included. I strongly encourage you to pay close attention to that. See what it looks like, see how it's set up, because that is a strong example of what this project should look like when you're done. So again, we're going to have a discussion that gives you the chance to try and find these different pieces, have some conversation about it with your peers, see what your peers find. That's a way for you to kind of figure out if you're missing main ideas, if you're finding too many. Do you seem to have the same thesis as your peers? So make sure to really focus on that discussion, because that's really going to help you set you up for success. And then of course, this is a major project. So with all of our major projects, we'll go through the writing process. You will get some peer-reviewed feedback from your peers, and then you'll have a chance to revise and edit before turning in the final project. So just wanted to give you a quick overview of this. Let me know if you have any questions, of course, and other than that, I look forward to seeing what you all come up with.